Welcome to This Week in Guns. Our bandwidth sponsor today is Stealth Gear USA, stealthgearusa.com. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network, Patriot Patch Company, and JWB Military and Brass. This podcast covers the latest commentary on the firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN. You make the show possible by clicking on our Amazon affiliate link every time you shop Amazon. So click that Amazon affiliate link, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. And you can also pledge your support over at firearmsradio.tv/pledge. Have a great panel this week. We have Baraka James, chairman and founder of MASF. Hey, Baraka, what's up?
Good evening, Jake. How are you, brother?
Doing great. And John Patton of the Gun Collective and Patton Media Consulting. Hey, John.
Hey, Jake. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. Billy Johnson, president of Boxer Tactical and retired video blogger at Admits the Noise. Hey, Billy.
Hey, Jake. How you doing, man?
Doing great. And we have a brand new guest, Maj Toure, hip-hop artist turned Second Amendment advocate, founder of Black Guns Matter. Hey, Maj, what's up?
What's going on? How y'all feeling?
Doing great. Hey, Maj, can you share real quick, how your organization came about and where people can connect with you?
Yeah, we came about just people in the hood just kept, my homies kept having the same cases, kept having the same issues. You know, it would be friends that would never had a felony, would go buy the gun, from like Coliseumos or something like that, buy the gun legitimately, and then get caught with the case for just having it on their hip. Now, me personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But Philadelphia, you got to have a license to carry. So then they catch the case, they get the felony, and it's like, oh man, they just was missing information. So after 2 or 3 of those, we start to go, okay, well, there's information missing here, and then I would tell somebody, and then they would be the case, or they wouldn't catch a case, and then they would tell somebody else, like, yo, I did the same thing, and you need to talk to Maj. So then over time, it started to turn into something that, we created, and we, structured an organization around it. And that organization is Black Guns Matter.
Awesome.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll talk to you a little bit more later. You can share a little bit more about what you guys are all about, where people can connect with you.
No doubt.
But great to have you on the show. Appreciate it. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised, especially on live shows. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. Check out the Patch of the Month Club. Just posted up November's Patch of the Month Club, where you actually get a bonus patch. You get 2 patches if you sign up in time for November's Patch of the Month Club at patriotpatch.co. Don't miss out. I already had a bunch of people emailing me this week about missing out on the October Patch of the Month Club. It's too late. You missed out. Limited run, one-time exclusives only at Patriot Patch Company's Patch of the Month Club. Top stories this week. John Patton's going to lead us off with some positive news.
Yeah, we've got some really good stuff. Every week we kind of get shorted on the amount of actual positive news here, but my friends at Daniel Defense actually went above and beyond and donated I don't really know how much. They didn't really say how much, but like a truckload full of cases of water and ice to go with it for the victims of Hurricane Matthew down in the southeastern states. Oftentimes the people down there are not getting what they need fast enough, especially from the United States government. I mean, we can all agree that they're slow when it comes to relief efforts. So
with the U.S. government?
Yeah, shocking, right?
No,
Red tape.
No way.
But having been down there to the Daniel Defense Factory recently and talking with the people and really understanding who they are as a company, I mean, this just warms my heart. What do you guys think? Anything to kind of add to this?
Yeah, I do. That's love. I mean, to take a minute out of your time in moments to, like you said, the government and FEMA and all those guys, they move a little on some snail mail. So I support anybody. I heard the same thing from some foreign person, like did the same thing, like they flew something over. So I support anybody that's willing to take a little bit of their own to spread it to somebody else that need it. So I salute that.
You know, and it's so rare to see a company really, like a big company in the firearms industry, making strides like that. Like, who else has done something like that that we're aware of recently?
Nah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I can't think of it. I mean, there's a lot of small businesses that do things like that all the time, you know, but the giants of the industry just don't do things like that. And it's really cool to see
The only
Daniel
thing
Defense
I would say,
leading
though,
the way.
we got to be cautious if we don't hear about it, because sometimes there might be some people that might not make it known that they do it. So
That's fair. Yeah, you're
Um,
not wrong.
that's
But
just
if-
one thing. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's other companies that do it or not. I don't know.
But
I'm
at the
just-
same time, a giant like that blazing the trail to be so open about it will hopefully start something good. Usually when a positive thing is started, other people will jump on board and say, you know what, we can do that too. So,
Right.
Totally agree.
That's what I was gonna say, because it's like we tend to highlight our profit margins, you know, and our corporate money and all that other stuff. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, why don't you highlight some of the good stuff that you're doing? You can set the trend that way. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it's a snowball effect. So we posted these quarter profits of such and such, and that's cool. That's always great for business. You know what I mean? But it's also good for business to be socially responsible and promote that and say, hey, we did this good thing too. You know?
I agree 100%, man.
Right. And not only that, but for, you know, major public perception, a company that makes quote unquote black rifles did something really, really good.
Right. Right.
So the next story we've got is a judge overseeing the case between the Newtown families and Remington, Camphor, Bushmaster, and a gun shop in Connecticut in association with the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting back in 2012. That case has now been dismissed.
Thank the Lord.
You know, it was odd because I think it was earlier this year in April. I actually covered this on TGC News, and the case was allowed to continue based on somebody screwing up the way they were trying to get it dismissed at the time. But now it's officially been dismissed under the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which basically protects firearms manufacturers from things of this nature. You know, being blamed for the actions of someone else. It's the same kind of crap that saves car manufacturers. You know, it's not the same act, but it's the same type of thing that saves car manufacturers from negligent acts of human beings and things of that nature. And I was just pleased to see that we didn't see this continue into court, and we didn't see somebody out there making horrible decisions being the whipping boy for the firearms industry.
And well, let me tell you, it would have set a very bad precedence for future litigation. They would draw upon that case and they would help strengthen their case. And then they would compound that over and over and over until everyone is sued into the ground and no one is, and all those companies go bankrupt. So, I mean,
I don't see how anybody at this point could even try to use that as an argument. How anybody logically can say, oh, you made a cup of coffee, and since you made this cup of coffee and I drank it and I didn't like what my stomach reaction to the coffee, not anything wrong with the coffee. Now you, as the manufacturer of the coffee beans, are in trouble. I don't see how that's such a far stretch to me. It's like the fact that this was however long this case is going on, and it wasted that much money and time. It's amazing to me how they stuff don't get cut out from the gate. You know, like it's beautiful that it was thrown out, but it's like this, really? I mean, I know I'm simplifying it. But it's like, really? Like, how, you this is still your angle? Like, you're still trying this particular tactic? That's amazing to me.
I
well,
think
it's
it's
ludicrous and frivolous. Yeah.
Yeah.
ahead, Billy, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, when's the last time Budweiser has been sued for a drunk
Right.
driver that killed
Right.
someone because they drank Budweiser that night?
There
What's
you go.
funny is that, not necessarily funny, but what's crazy is that we shouldn't need a specific law for the firearms industry because we don't allow this to happen in any other industry. And, you know, to be able to sue someone for negligence, you have to prove that they were reckless, right? So you would have to prove that somehow Bushmaster knew without a doubt selling this gun to this dealer and this dealer selling it to this woman and this woman allow her ill son to get access to it would have resulted in the murder of innocent children. Like you can't prove recklessness in that case. I mean, you just absolutely can't. It's ridiculous, and it's a larger problem in our culture, where we're starting to blame other people instead of blaming the person that perpetrates the act.
But if
we've talked about this countless times. Yep. It's always going to be someone looking for an out and not taking responsibility for themselves or the actions of someone they knew. You know, it's never about what the person did, because that's very difficult to fix or figure out what the actual issue is, because people are complex, right? But it's much easier to point a finger at an inanimate object and say that's the problem, not him. You know, he was screwed up, but he wouldn't have been able to do it without that, and that's crap. It's intent.
But let me segue off what you're saying, John. Exactly what you just said. It's an inanimate object. It's a tool that cannot be operated without a person. It is the person who has the will, who is alive, who is causing that. That is the basic, most fundamental reason why this was just frivolous and ludicrous. They should have never even been brought to legislation.
I think it's a balance. I think it's a balance of those things. I think they try to pick and choose when. You know, the opposition tries to pick very strategic times when they get a shot off. You know what I mean? And they go, okay, maybe we can use this one. You know, the emotions are high. Let's try this one. You know what I mean? Even though in any other situation, it'll get laughed out the courtroom. I mean, it's like I've had friends that have, you know, someone will say, oh, you did this to me. And before it even makes it to court, the district attorney will go, there's nothing here. We're not even charging this person. You know, so I think they take their shot because, again, it is more so than the auto industry. The firearms, you know, manufacturers are at the center of the scope of a witch hunt, you know, no pun intended. You know, so I think that every so often, that's why, and to also piggyback on the lack of personal accountability, that's the principle that's happening in America generally. Everything getting shipped out. Nobody's making nothing. Nobody's, you know what I mean? Everything is on credit. It's no rumble. Everybody's soft. Yeah, wait, I could cuss on here?
No. That's what our joke, you'll hear us joke throughout the program, called timestamp. He timestamps it and goes and erases it if you accidentally slip. So.
But it's just like that's the running theme, and it's like it takes away from the strength. It's like, in order to build something, you gotta put your sweat equity into it. And if you make the mistake, but based on your actions, okay, we stand up to that. You know, you do your time or whatever. And it's like, these situations are designed to make consistently okay and make people real soft. And I'm glad that they weren't rewarded for that, because, like you said, it would have just been a slippery slope into God knows what oblivion.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of positive news, because we're going to Chicagoland. So 48 shot over the weekend. Chicago shootings reach record-breaking numbers, and then companion story: Chicago gets serious about sky-high murder rate by banning Western cowgirl toy gun playset and other toy gun playsets. You can no longer order them from Amazon.com, apparently, if you have a Chicago shipping address.
Wow. So let me point this out. One of the things that I've seen that is different about Chicago versus like Detroit. Detroit had a huge shift. Do you guys remember when Detroit was on the news every weekend about people being killed? Until what happened? The sheriff stepped up, encouraged law-abiding citizens to go out and get training, to get arms, take up arms, protect their neighborhoods, protect their homes. And we haven't seen anything in the news about Detroit or anyone getting killed in Detroit anymore. Chicago needs the same thing. Just like you guys know what my organization is about. I want every law-abiding citizen in America to be able to protect themselves, to walk down their streets, saving their neighborhood safely. And the only way that's going to happen is there has to be a mutual respect here. People are educated and armed and being able to take care of themselves, then this kind of thing won't happen. The problem is you have too many people out here. A lot of this violence is just based on ignorance in the first place. You have to appeal to the people who are actually doing the violence. And then at the same time, you have to get the law-abiding people to be able to stand up and say, that's enough. We're not going to put up with this anymore either.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's clearly the key. That when we was in Chicago last week with Black Guns Matter, we noticed that. We noticed that there wasn't the rank and file were basically saying we feel hamstrung, because even though they just got concealed carry, you got to get like a FOID card, then you got to do this, and you got to do all these other things. So all of the people that came to the class all had the same story. Like, we just want some sort of information because the website is convoluted. We don't know what to do. So it's the hamstring. And like you said, in that scenario in Detroit, the sheriff said, okay, look, we got to do this ourselves.
Right.
Now we fixed it. You know, I mean, it's the same story. It's like you have to stop complaining. You have to stop looking to the Fed for all of your money. You got to stop. Like I'm telling you, we just are being turned into like girls. I mean, and I hate to sound funny about that or sound sexist, but it's like there's a certain level of strength that is necessary to get us out of these situations, and just passing the buck and waiting for, your first responder to be somebody outside of your house or fixing your neighborhood or waiting on whatever candidate that's going to happen to pop off in November. You look like lunch meat. You are lunch meat.
But Maj, what you're saying is what we're always constantly telling people. We reiterate over and over, you and only you are responsible for your safety. You don't bring the government to raise your children, to feed you, to take care of you. You need to take care of your own safety. You cannot rely on someone else. Violence happens at a neck-breaking pace. And there's no way anyone's going to get there in time. Superman is not going to come down in the blink of an eye and say, oh, there's some trouble. Let me fly over there in 2 seconds and get there and save everybody. It's not going to happen. You can only rely on yourself and count on yourself. So if you go out and seek the education and you go out and a lot of it is preventable because it's mindset. Pay attention. Don't go out in certain places. Don't be out at night. Nothing good goes on at night. Believe me, I know. Pay attention to things. Do preventative measures.
I think what's really, really interesting is what Maj is doing is, I think we can all agree, one of the best things to be doing, and that's going into the places like Chicago and educating.
Oh yeah, that's phenomenal.
Right, you got to do it there because it serves two purposes. One, it exposes the contradiction. It says you politicians put all of these laws up, and you said this was going to be the situation.
Right.
Every law in Chicago. You just got concealed carry, but the problem is there's people there that we don't give a shit about your concealed carry law. We got the burners. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. You know what I mean? And on one hand, you making these people lunch meat, and then on the other hand, again, you hamstring them. But it was so many citizens that came there, real estate, landlords, all of these different things, 6-year-old girls, 70-year-old women, all age brackets, races, came to the class in Chicago because they just wanted, those were the people that were saying, what can I do for myself? I asked the government, I asked the police, this isn't the case. I'm a citizen. What can I do? Can you show me what to do? And just giving them some sort of empowering techniques just on firearm safety alone and breaking down their own state's website to show them how they can walk through that process alone and leaving them with pamphlets that they can refer to on firearm safety and knowledge. And even before that, to inform people about what the Second Amendment actually means. What's the difference between the Bill of Rights and the Constitution? Giving them that information shapes their perspective. So now they don't feel like they're being wrong or criminal by wanting to defend themselves with a firearm or feel taboo or shamed because they want to go, get a firearm or they had this interest for the thing. So seeing their faces light up. I mean, even hood dudes came through and was like, look, I got the thing on me right now when it's dirty. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to show you at least how to secure it so your child doesn't get access to it.
Good for you, man. Your mission is very similar to mine. We're going to have to talk offline because it's basically almost identical, except you're more boots on the ground than I've been able to be so far.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, I'm with it.
I think one of the other things that can happen in that sort of process as well is when you're going to these places and educating people and, like you said, empowering them to, get educated for themselves. But that sort of thing, creating that positive message around, firearms and personal safety and responsibility, that can spread, like, oh, I heard you got a concealed carry permit. Why? And all it takes is that initial conversation, that little seed of knowledge. And, suddenly we could see the cities in America changing.
Yeah, it is, because it's fast. I'm telling you, it's so fast. I mean, because that's the reason why I go to the cities. I go there because I need to see. Like, I might be in the city a week or two before the class is even there. I just need to feel the energy. I need to see what the people are like. I need to communicate with them. Because sometimes if you go into a space and you feel like, nah, they don't really want it, and then the people have spoken, they don't want it. But every city that we go to, I go ahead of time and scout. And they like, yo, you could do this? Like, this is real? Like, this ain't like a setup? Like, I'm not gonna go to jail? Like, I'm saying, like, it's just I say this so many times. It's marketed different in urban environments. It's marketed like you got to be the law enforcement or you have to be the bad guy if you're even thinking about firearms, unless it's on a movie. You know what I'm saying? But everyone, most people in America have some sort of fascination with firearms. It's almost like it's taboo. Like porn is less taboo than firearms.
And you know what that tells me, Maj? What you were just saying about the marketing? Why do you think that is? Because that would swing the voting towards gun rights. They don't want people to know, yes, rely on the law enforcement officers. No, you can't take care of yourself. It's dangerous outside. Stay inside, lock the door, and don't walk down your neighborhoods. You can't take care of yourself. We don't have enough officers. So, yeah.
Well, and then it's compounded by the fact that we have a specific set of laws for urban areas versus rural areas. I mean, look at what it takes to get a gun permit in New York City, right? $450. You got to wait 8 months, a year. You got to go through interview process to exercise your constitutionally protected right. And so the single mom living in the Bronx who's got 2 kids, she's working 3 jobs. She might live in a rough neighborhood. She wants to protect herself. How the hell is she going to go take 3 days off of work to wait in line to be interviewed, come up with $450 to pay for a permit, and then she has to go and buy the firearm?
Well, Billy, I'll tell you how, because once we are finally up and funded, she writes to us. We give her the financial scholarship to find a training in her area. When we ship her the holster, the ammo, we pay for her class tuition, and we give her a discount on her gun once we're up and funded. As you know, that's my plan for MASL.
And there are good people like you guys doing that. But what's so just crazy about this is there's people living like what you're trying to do, Maj. There's people living in these neighborhoods that think these things are designed to protect them, but actually these are a hurdle in their way to exercising a right that's guaranteed to them.
But here's the twist. They don't even know. In my hood, most of my homies, I'm telling you, before you even get to, we have a certain level of information about these things because we're read in that lane.
Right.
I'm telling you, even before you get to, it's totally designed that you don't even have this right. It's marketed that way, to that base structure. Not even when you get the money, when you do this paperwork. It's designed that you are the bad guy.
That infuriates me, man. Wow, I can't even.
I'm telling you, it's amazing. It's like, boom. I'll give you a perfect example. We had one of the earlier classes. You know what I'm saying? And I left my AR. And I told my homies, yo, I gotta go get my AR real quick. Hop in the car. Well, I didn't tell them it was AR. So we're gonna go in the car. I gotta go get something. I come out and bring the AR out. He's like, yo, what are you doing? I'm like, it's AR, man. It's cool. Like, this is legal. He's like, there's no way that big ass gun is legal. In my mind, I'm like, it's not even a big ass gun.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
but in his mind, his association with it, it was TV.
Wow,
so I'm saying at that base level, nah, they don't even. It's you know what I mean. And we gotta change that. That's why my argument a lot is, in order for the Second Amendment to community to exist further, the hood gotta get behind it.
I agree. I wasn't aware, dude. I wasn't aware. I had no idea, man.
It just tells us, this entire discussion tells us that there's still an enormous amount of work to do.
Oh my God, is there? I had no idea, man.
Yo, it's so much missing in that scenario. You know what I mean? But the silver lining is, once you introduce them to it, I'm telling you, once I go, nah, this is what you do. Like, you know how many dudes that I seen that had the wrong ammo in?
Oh no, like 40 cal and a 9mm and 40 cal.
You know what I'm saying? You just got this one firearm and you never had to use it. You got the wrong cartridges in there, bro. Like, it's at that point. But once you share it with them and then make them responsible for it, when we get responsible for it, and we see the growth, it becomes it's like a passion, and it speeds up exponentially. So it's not that we weren't able to grasp the information. The information was hidden on purpose. So once we give them basics, I mean, dudes is hitting me up like, yo, you see, I found these old Chris Costa DVDs, and I'm like, where the hell did you find those? You know what I'm saying? And so it puts them on a path that they're like.
That's funny.
It's a special time when Chris Costa DVDs are paraphernalia. Like, yo, check this out.
I'm telling you, and they we be chomping at the bit because it's like, yo, it's a whole nother world, and it's beautiful.
Well, so one more thing about the cities, what you were saying, like DC is one of the most, they every Sunday, me and my wife say, okay, let's see how many people were killed in DC, especially in the summertime when it gets hot.
Mhm.
And the body count continues to rise. And what the thing is, they're like, we don't want guns here. We don't want guns here. And the same people, the head of the DC City Council and his right-hand woman, 2 days later, when they approved marijuana, this was like 6 months ago or whatever, they had the biggest Cheshire smiles on their face. They're like, yeah, we're so happy to have marijuana here. It's a new commerce and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, so you don't want guns for people to be able to protect themselves, but you want people to have medicinal and recreational use of marijuana. So you want them to be able to enjoy one kind of thing, but not enjoy something that'll save their lives.
Because you know why? Because the firearm, if you started just think about this collective that we have here. If in let's say DC, if there was 10,000 of us, people that think like us, well informed about the Constitution, your human natural given rights, and all of those different things, how you controlling people? Now, if you high and you smoked up, and we can still get the tax base, because there's a tax base in firearms. You know what I'm saying? No, more business, more ranges, more gun stores, more training facilities, things like that. There's a tax base there. You know what I'm saying? The difference is weed make you chill, a firearm make you build. And if it's about controlling and dominating and not equality, it's not going to be. The only thing they're not going to okay it. The only thing that's going to push it over the tipping point is the people from urban areas going, nah, we want this. And we started attacking them on the money. Oh, you're not down with this? This Walmart not allowed to sell, firearms? Then we not shopping at this Walmart. Then the Walmart leans on those political dudes. You know what I mean? You gotta go up the pyramid with it, and it has to be a holistic approach. Otherwise, they're gonna keep making it seem like because they run the media. So they're very crafty and tactical. I can't be mad at them, but their veil is strong, but it's thin, and it could get broke with a little bit of information, especially the people from the hood. I'm telling you, we catch up real quick.
That's awesome, man.
So what's the best way, Maj, do you think, to get that information to those people?
Like forums like this, social media. Like it's too fast. Social media is like too fast. I think I found a funny meme and I'll send it to somebody. Like, yeah, I saw that yesterday. You know what I'm saying? So it's like social media is actually the primary way of transferring the information initially. Then you got to have groups like what we're doing, and and other organizations. Like the thing you said about getting the funding to give people the scholarships and the discount on that's a holistic approach.
Yeah, that's my whole organization is based on that. We'll talk offline about that, about our mission, but basically my mission is exactly what Billy said. That's actually the example I used, is a woman who lives in a low income area. She's working 2 jobs. She's a single mother. She has 3 children. She's scared. She can't afford to move out of where she is to a quote unquote safer place. So she has to be able to protect her home, protect herself, her daughters, walk down her streets. And the only way that she's going to be able to do that is she writes a essay to say, this is why I want to get training, turns in her tax returns on a secure website. We check it out, make sure, everything's legit, give her a quick background check, boom. She comes either to our facility once it's built or a facility in her city that we've approved and one of our partners. She gets the training. She shows up there and everything's there. Her eyes are there, her eye protection, her ear protection, her pistol that's going to be loaned out to her, all of her ammo that she needs for the day, her hotel accommodations taken care of. That's where I want to get to. And that's eventually where I will, because I won't stop until this is done. That's right.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Well, I'm just glad Chicago has finally closed the internet toy gun loop.
They just grasp at straws, man. It makes me mad, the stuff that they put out. It's such fiction. It's like living in the Twilight Zone.
You know who's really harmed by that story? The girl that wanted the cowboy set.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we're not even talking about the real victim here.
She's like, Dad, you said it was coming. What's going on?
Oh, man.
Do we not have a Prime account?
Right. It's overnight. What's going on?
Election Watch 2016. SCOTUS Second Amendment opening final presidential debate was brought up. Gun control takes center stage at third presidential debate. Have some a few more headlines here. I'll blaze through, and then we'll start back at the top. Libertarian VP nominee unfamiliar with reciprocity. Vegas gun store owner's crooked Hillary ad draws national attention. Hillary discloses nuclear launch details to the world. And Clinton might name Bloomberg to Secretary of the State if elected.
Well, I love that because when you're a nanny, you all hang out at the park with other nannies. And so we got Nanny Hillary and we're going to have Nanny Bloomberg. It's like a perfect marriage in heaven, right? I love it. We just need more nannies in government.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, let's take somebody that ran New York State into the ground and partner her with somebody that ran New York State into the ground.
We'll have a nationwide shortage of you can only drink 28 ounces.
Eight ounces. We're going France
Okay,
style.
You
8
went
ounces
over your
of soda.
rations of soda.
Unbelievable.
Also,
No
that
more
what he
suicide.
made all the bodegas put the cigarettes.
Right.
You couldn't see the cigarettes. He wanted the cigarettes hidden in the bodegas.
The dark secret. I'm coming
Yeah.
in here. Hey, you guys got those Camel Lights extra wise?
It's a heroin deal now. Come on, man.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Push it into the shadows,
Oh,
make it
boy.
as scary and dirty as possible. And if we marginalize this and we push it into the shadows and we can create this veil around it that it's something dirty, it's something you shouldn't be doing. We do that with guns. They do that with cigarettes. They've done it with all different kinds of drugs. And
I got a
just
great idea
continues.
based on what Billy just said. To fund this whole thing that we want to do, let's start cigarette and double big gulp speakeasies in New York, where you can come in and smoke all the cigarettes you want and drink as much soda as you want, free refills.
Just
all
standing
night.
on the corner, yo, I got that Slurpee. I got that
$10 million
Slurpee.
a week.
You got that Mountain Dew, son.
Yeah, I got it. I got that cold red. What's going on? Yo, that's crazy.
So did you guys catch a last and final presidential debate?
Well, see, I like my head not exploded, so no.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm too unplugged from the Matrix. I can see when they lying. I can see it. It's like, nah, I can't.
I
even.
like
It's
that.
so hard to watch because I can, I can just see it. She's a bad actress. He's, don't get me wrong. Your choices are your choices. But to me, I just feel like we're falling, for me to watch it and for me to, I have a somewhat of a following. So it's like people are asking me, and if I can say, listen, I didn't watch it. And when they say, well, why? Well, do you know who your city council person is? Do you know what your local politics are? Do you know, what those things which actually have a larger impact on your life that you have more control over?
Yes.
I would like people to have more of a focus there. So because of that, I just don't get caught up in it, and I don't want people to have this, or get people more away from this end all be all thing. Like either one of those people are gonna come into office and and swoop down and fix North Philly. It's just not gonna go that way. The last time that I had those high hopes, obviously it was 2008, and I was like, yo, maybe this guy, he's from Chicago, he's young, maybe, and then it was like, oh, we re-signed the Patriot Act. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not really sure about that, so I don't really, I want the people in my constituency to understand that, man, I don't really care who's in office. We as the people, whatever rumble we got to do to make sure the things that we want in our politics and our interests are secured. And that's what we got to do in whatever city or state that you in. Your locality is your locality, and it's power in local politics, on that level. So I didn't really watch it. I had was getting ready for bed. I was like, I don't want to throw up in my mouth. I already brushed my teeth. It's too much.
Isn't it fun? It's also interesting too when we talk about like presidential debates and during the whole campaign cycle, is the media treats the president, the presidential hopefuls like almost like they are going to be king and queen. And we as citizens, we have to remember they are 1/3 of the government.
Right.
And they always ask them, what's your plan? What's your plan? What's your tax plan? Well, newsflash, Americans, the president cannot impose their tax plan. It has to go through Congress.
Yep.
So all this crap we're talking about up on stage, what they're going to do, they can't do it without Congress and a judicial branch.
Right.
And people have been brainwashed that the president is going to fix everything for everybody. And our government doesn't work that way. It wasn't designed that way.
But with good intent, with great design.
Right. And we've I feel like when I was watching the debate, we've so lost this. We think this person's going to fix everything, and they're not.
It's the same kind of reason that people put so much weight on what a celebrity has to say. We have completely lost our minds thanks to guidance from key, media over the years. All this direction that we've been headed in has been happening for decades. No longer are we looking for a leader. We are looking for a celebrity. That's what people want. We don't want people don't want to be led. They want to look at somebody that's doing everything for them, so to speak. They want to feel like, oh, that guy's worrying about it. I don't have to. And he or she is doing whatever silly stuff, and I'm going to, get on Twitter and interact with them on a, like a celebrity. And it's not what the presidency is about. We've lost that.
Right. The last time I from the knowledge, because I wasn't alive, but the last president that I honestly could say to a certain extent that was about that work to me was Kennedy. I'm saying the older one. You know what I mean? I think that there needs to be a certain level of understanding the service. It's like, when people hit me up on social media and I'm doing this work, yeah, here's my phone number. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? You're going through something mental health issue. Let me talk to you before you get a firearm and do something harmful to yourself. And then I got to clean that mess up because of that conversation. You know what I mean? It's about service. I think that's the key component that, we've tend to, I don't even want to say we've gotten away from it. I want to say that the powers that be have, manipulated media to a point where they're shifting the narrative or they're turning the camera a certain way, but, as soon as you, broaden pan left or pan right and more people can see, oh, there is other options, they start to choose those other options. I just think they have a stranglehold on media, to a certain extent. But, it's leaning people away from the concept of service. It's the same thing with law enforcement. You're not here to control and patrol. You are here to serve. Now, I know that legally you have no obligation to protect, but, the government works for us. That whole Constitution thing was a system of limits. Like, yo, y'all are wilding. This is as far as you go. And I think especially in urban environments, because we already rebels. I'm from Philly. We rebel city, So it's like we gotta make it that way again. And the other thing too is, getting back to the marketing thing, it's not marketed as fly as it is. Like, Tupac was a rebel and that was fly, but he was hip hop. We gotta have to make being a patriot rebellious and cool and fly, because the shit it's nothing. Give me liberty or give me death. That's some gangster shit. I don't care what demographic you're from. You know what I'm saying?
Can we quote that? That needs
it's interesting.
To be on a T-shirt.
It's interesting to say that, Maj, because I see also media, a lot of media trying to really slander people that are claiming to be patriots, right? Mm-hmm. That, oh, you're anarchists, that, you're trying to tear this country apart, that you want to start a war. Those are the things that I hear out of media when people, or the police bulletins come across to say, hey, if you see a "Do Not Tread on Me" bumper sticker on a car, you need to. That person's trouble. We need to get to that person. Mm. It's funny how all of a sudden being a patriot is like a dirty word.
You mean this? You mean this plate right here?
Yeah, that plate right there. Yeah.
Right. How we shift that narrative is, you gotta make it cool. You got to make it like me. I'm like Allen Iverson. It's like, I'm going to do me. I'm about this. I'm going to play this game and I'm going to give 100% to it. But I'm going to have this long hair. You know what I'm saying? I smoke. I'm not, you know what I mean? All of these things that it has to be hip hop culture. And because America, a strong portion of pop culture is hip hop culture. But it has to be rebellious. It got to be cool. You can't. The reason why we missed a lot of this in civics class is because the teachers was presenting it and it was so boring. By design, we have to shift that paradigm by adjusting some of the tactics, because our opposition, they are not attached to one particular philosophy. They have an agenda.
At the same time, the opposition has that celebrity. This is a cool thing to be supporting Hillary, to be supporting gun control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They've gone to Hollywood and they've convinced those people somehow, whether it's money or other stupid reasons or whatever, they've convinced them to be what you're talking about. And I think, as more and more people like you guys pop up and want to spread the message on mass scale, into both the suburbs, the inner cities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The more that kind of stuff grows, and the more the firearms industry and firearms culture grows within the United States, of more and more people realizing, hey, this is legal, and I'm totally fine to defend myself, and it's fun to go shoot.
Right.
Like all of that is just going to compound, and we're going to find new people.
Right.
In the next 5 to 10 years, assuming something crazy doesn't happen, we are going to continue to see more and more people step up and speak up.
The shit is going to be like Starbucks. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to, Dunkin' Donuts is what I rock out with. But at the end of the day, they're going to pop up everywhere because when the phones came out and social media, the information is very accessible. All I got to do is trigger your mind on looking for this type of information. You're going to make it cool. It's almost going to be like, because again, it already is cool in hip hop culture. We be just missing certain components. It's cool. Look, when I'm walking around with my burner, I am Moses in the hood. You know what I'm saying? They go like, man, what kind of gun is that? Oh yeah, this is what's the name? This is this. Oh, well, what's the difference between that? Oh, it's a double stack. Why it's called a double stack? Nah, it's called this. Da, 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 da. All right, get out of here, youngin. I am a dignitary in my hood. I have diplomatic immunity.
Hold on. Mod said something that's a little that I have to disagree with. Because Dunkin' Donuts coffee is bitter as shit. Okay.
No, that's Starbucks.
Dunkin's way better than Starbucks.
No, you guys don't have any taste buds. What are you talking about, man?
Starbucks is too harsh. That shit is like
crazy.
Especially
the cold brew blend.
I'm going to be the rebel here. All coffee is terrible.
How do you function then, John? I just want to know. Are you
don't drink coffee at all?
I do not drink coffee.
How do you get through the day, brother? I don't understand.
I run on hate and
discontent. Hate and discontent.
Are you drinking like those 24-ounce monster drinks?
Oh, God, no.
Oh, no? No caffeine at all. Seriously, John.
No, seriously, I don't.
Yeah, man, I'll give it to
you. The most I'll drink is like tea.
Hats off, man.
Wait, at all?
Wow.
That means you drink a lot of like gin.
No. Like, I'm not saying like alcohol. I'm saying like, when it comes to something to pick me up, it's like I'll drink water and tea.
Look at you, man. Okay, hats off. I drink black coffee first thing in the morning. Otherwise, I cannot function, man. I'm like a zombie.
That stuff made me vomit.
I was running through 4 cups of the coffee. I had to cut back to
coffee.
This week in coffee.
Sorry. All right, there you go. Sorry about that.
So, this election, it really, for me and for a lot of pro Second Amendment supporters, it comes down to what's going to happen afterwards with the Supreme Court nominees. And this was brought up in this week's debate. And Trump said, we need a Supreme Court that, in my opinion, is going to uphold the Second Amendment and all amendments, but the Second Amendment, which is under absolute siege. I believe if my opponent should win this race, which I truly don't think will happen, we will have a Second Amendment, which will be very, very small replica of what we have right now. And then later on, he also said he's going to appoint justices that will interpret the Constitution the way the Founding Fathers wanted it to be interpreted.
Well, then let's start cutting the government in half. Actually, we could probably shave 80% of the government because that's how it was supposed to be.
Totally. Yeah.
I think that he hit a nail on the head. He's another dude that, in principle, I rock with a lot of the stuff dude says. I think he's far removed, so he doesn't know how to say it. But if I had $1 billion, I probably wouldn't know how to talk to people. You know what I'm saying? But that's clear cut. She's been on tape discussing. We explored the Australia initiative, and that's a presidential candidate.
I know that makes me furious.
That's so on that side, but I agree with him. I think that, she got to play the game. She's not going to outright say it unless she's caught saying it, but it's clear that she has that agenda. My question is what do you like? What do you foresee of this? Like, is your plan to get rid of firearms for the general public, and military or law enforcement still has them? How do you think you're gonna come get my AR situation was 1100? And I got a couple of them. You think we're just gonna like hand them to you? Like,
of course, that's definitely what they think, because they also think that there are a lot of police officers out there that will go ahead and enforce that ridiculous concept.
I doubt that. I talked to too many officers. They like
right. They won't. They just won't. They are not that stupid.
Right.
Well, that's when they'll use drones. It's okay. Don't worry.
It's all. I mean, we can talk about like we can talk
Joe.
about like really big general bans and stuff, like these big, broad brushstrokes. But the real threat with the Second Amendment is the millimeter at a time, right? It's just the little bit of legislation, the little bit. We're gonna get rid of private party sales, so we're gonna make it harder for you to transfer your gun, and then your gun's not going to be allowed to be in the possession of another person. It's just this little steps, and 20 years goes by, and then you forget where you were 20 years ago. I think that's the real goal of someone like Hillary Clinton. She, in her mind, I truly believe she wishes that she could just sweep them all up, right? Like a Feinstein, right? Like Diane would love to come in and sweep up all the guns. But the politics in them, and I think, the politician in them realizes that that's probably not going to happen. So it's the millimeter at a time. And when I watch the debate and see something like her and Donald, here's the thing. Hillary Clinton is really good at playing politics. Like, there's almost no one that's better. Like, she is really, you watch that debate and you're like, wow, she's good. I can see through her. I see that she's lying through her teeth.
Right.
But she's good. And she dupes a lot of people,
They win by attrition. It's a chess game. I'm gonna just take if you can beat me at strategy, I can just take one piece, and stay alive long enough to win the game. And that's what they do. And they'll throw 3 presidents at you, all a part of the same plan. They, like you said, they're thinking in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50-year plans. You know what I'm saying? And if we're not consistently focused on, hey, we got these documents, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, that we pretty much good from there as a starting point, as a base point. By making young people not focus on that and not pay, civics is not taught, and especially in urban environments, civics, that shit is not taught. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have any attachment to it. And if you don't have any attachment to it, you have no value in it. If you have no value for it, when they start eroding these things in 20 years, you in high school, middle school now, when you're, you got your 3 children, it eroded so slowly by attrition that you ain't even notice it. You know what I'm saying? So that is the game plan. I just think that what we got to do, and that's why we getting beat up for real. We don't on an emotional level, because when you have a logical argument and the facts, you kind of tend to not deal with emotion, not deal with, all of those different things. I think to a certain extent, not to the exclusion of facts and logic, but to a certain extent, it's harming, the 2A community or people that are patriots, because they can usually identify us with one emotion, which is passion or anger, because we're so angry that this crazy stuff is going on around us. How we're getting beat up is we're not appealing to the newbies in a space where we are appealing to their celebrity or their this is cool, or presenting it and repackaging it in a way. They have great packaging, but the gift is actually shit. We have an actual great gift, but the packaging is horrible.
No, you're right, and I agree. I want to say one thing about that, Maj. When your emotion turns on, your mind turns off. I mean, that's just the bottom line, and it shuts down. I mean, look at the way that when Hillary Clinton goes to her rallies, she gets up on stage. What's the first thing she starts doing? Yelling and shouting. Everything is a yell and a shout. When Donald Trump comes, it's quiet, and he starts speaking in a normal speaking voice, because he's talking about factual things and talking to people in a very civilized and calm manner. He's trying to trigger their minds. She's trying to trigger their emotions. Did you hear what Donald Trump said? We're not going to let him get away with that. And, roaring applause. Just everything is emotion. It's all purposeful.
We have to adopt, to a certain extent, we have to adopt some of those principles. And I know some of my friends beat me up when I say it.
It's
Because
true.
it's like, no, we're right. But the unfortunate part is you know,
The delivery.
all you get for being right is just being right. You could still lose all of your rights
True.
by being right. You know,
We had a discussion on the show not that long ago about the fact that we as a firearms community often use logic and things of that nature to provide, to have our discussions, right? That's
Right.
our typical path.
Yeah. Right.
And we kind of all agreed that, maybe going through emotions and appealing to that emotional side of human beings is the tactic that we need to be using instead of, just trying to go through logic only.
You're dealing with logic with people that have none of the knowledge that you have. There's a phrase that says, "We don't agree because we haven't read the same books." You don't even know you. It's like, I'll give you a perfect example. I know a guy that shoots way better than me. He's at the range regularly. Shoots way better than me. I said Heckler and Koch. He said Heckler and Koch. And I was like, yo, it's actually Heckler and Koch. And he went back and forth with me for a long time. And I pulled it up on their website and I showed him, see, this is how this is actually. We didn't agree, even though I was right, because we didn't read the same information.
Right.
And I wouldn't even use the phrase instead of the logical argument. I'm saying we have to do more. We have to do it in conjunction with the logical argument. So you got to.
In cases like that, that's often how things go, right? You get into a discussion, and what happens is when people feel like they're being told they're wrong or they might be wrong, they start to close up, right?
Well, they dig in,
right. They dig in. And we have seen that time in and time out, and the time is now to kind of go, okay, how do we get around that? How do we circumvent that dig in? We need to get past that.
For me, what works is I'm always cool with it. I have to make this look cool. This gun gotta be cool to you. Knowledge gotta be cool to you. I can't, I have to appeal on that level. That's the first thing. The other thing is, I don't. For me, what happens a lot of times is a lot of my friends are felons, they're criminals. Like, it's just what it is. I notice another thing in our community is we go, oh, the criminals are over there, but that's a lot. I mean, there's 3 million people in jail. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I try to figure out how I can still extend that olive branch to them too, because that's a section. Even if they can't purchase firearms, or if they can't get their license to carry or things like that, they can still be, mouthpieces for, the rumble that we in. So by not judging them or just dismissing them, because the opposition, even though they're not giving them a voice on, voting, or they're not giving them their right to carry, they're still using them for other things. They're using them for the cool factor. They're using them for that. So those two things help me. One, making it look cool, and two, I'm around criminals a lot. And I tell them, look, don't put me in no position where if you honor what I'm doing because of the information I'm sharing with you, I'm telling you, hey, bring your lady down, get her through the concealed carry classes. You know what I mean? Take this.
Well, there's also a whole nother argument for nonviolent criminals. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
I know Billy has educated all of us on that kind of mentality, and
you served your time. You should have your rights.
Right. Like what? When do you get your rights back? Well, go ahead.
We've had millions of people in jail for doing nothing more than ingesting plants or chemicals into their own bodies. And so if you believe in self-ownership, if you believe that the one thing you're born into this world is that you own your body, it's really hard for me to understand how you can then justify putting someone in prison for doing nothing more than harming their own body, or maybe not even harming it, just putting something in their own body. And there's plenty of people that have become criminals, right? Nonviolent criminals. We have more nonviolent criminals in jail than we do have violent criminals. And, we get rapists getting out in 5 years, and we got people in prison, for having, an ounce of weed that are in prison for 20 years. Right. I mean, it's insane. It's insanity.
Well, Congress passed those unbalanced laws too. So
and then you come home and it's like, okay, well now let me get back in the swing of things. Well, you can't defend yourself. No. You can't work here. You can't vote here. Yeah. So what do you expect? See, all of that's part of that same system. Then what's the point of the prison time then? If the thing was supposed to, oh, okay, I slapped this person, you go to jail for the 2 months, you get out, you all right, you did your time. Now I should be able to jump right back into society. I'm telling you, it's the thing that I like to call the beautiful ugly. The precision of it and its fuckery is beautiful. It's
I use
so
that word a
precise.
lot. That's funny.
It's so precise, but it's the intent and the agenda behind it is so ugly. It's so ugly. It's things that I call the beautiful ugly, and that's the scenario that we're in. That's why we gotta get the Second Amendment community. It's like the church. We can't even be in the Second Amendment community no more. We gotta find new bodies. We gotta find new avenues. We gotta find new. It has every rap person that talks about a gun, Glock, Smith & Wesson needs a sponsorship with them. They need to sponsor tours. There's no reason on earth why Smith & Wesson shouldn't have whole dirt bike X game raps. We have to get it out of those shadows and make it popular culture. So it's so normal that you're almost an idiot if you deny it. It's not even a question anymore. It's like sometimes I get the emails and people will say, well, you're not afraid that you're on all of this press and you're doing all of this stuff right in front of people. Why would I be afraid? Why would I be afraid? It's nothing to be afraid of. I would only put fear in somebody that wasn't about, creating a firm, footing for everybody. And if that's the case, I don't give a fuck if I make you afraid. You should be afraid because I'm your enemy. So it's we got to get it from outside of that, and we got to reach out to people, and you have to make it cool. It gotta be cool. These young motherfuckers don't care about. Is it cool?
Look at cool? Jake smiling because he's writing down the time of every time you cuss to go edit it out.
I need more paper.
I'm just happy there's somebody that curses more than I do. I'm usually the guy Jake's writing all the stuff down, and I never feel bad.
I just try to get all mine out in the pre-show and the after show.
Yeah, but that's okay, man. I think we could wax on this for hours and hours and hours, and we do this every week.
Right.
All right, Jay, go ahead, take control, brother.
Retired U.S. Marine Corps general charged with lying to the FBI over computer virus meant to disrupt Iran's nuclear program.
So wait, lying to the FBI can get you charged?
No, not if your last name is Clinton. It can't.
Yeah.
Oh, if your last name's Clinton, you can not only lie to the FBI, but you can destroy evidence.
That's right.
Destroy evidence when you have a subpoena. Now, if any of us tried to destroy evidence when we had a subpoena, we'd all be in jail.
Oh, Lord.
That's all I got to say about that.
The kind of the funny thing about this virus that was created is that it became public because it was accidentally released to the main internet. It was designed to just be released to Iran's nuclear enriching the centrifuges.
Okay, so let me tell you what happened with it. It's called Stuxnet, and it wasn't just us who crafted it. It was us and the Israelis. So what it was designed to do was to go in and cause their centrifuges to overheat, to just spin faster and faster and faster to destroy the machines and also destroy the material. I think when the virus actually went in and populated into their servers, it had destroyed a whole bunch of centrifuges, but it was a small amount compared to the amount that it was supposed to, because they discovered it and they got ahead of it and they were able to kill it. Because if it had spread the way it was supposed to, all of their centrifuges would have been destroyed, and that would have been a beautiful thing. But I love how our government gave the okay to create it. You can create this. We'll work with Israel, but if you get caught, we don't know you. We're going to roll you under the bus.
All right. Indiana, Kansas voters face constitutional right to hunt and fish on the ballot. So,
yeah.
What, Billy?
I'm not a fan of constitutional amendments when the process can be done through the legislative branch. I'm all for hunting, man. I'm all for hunting. I'm all for fishing. And I think there's plenty of ways to regulate that through your state DNR. And I think hunting's not going to be banned because we have to control the animal populations.
No.
I just don't think we need. I'm not someone that jumps up for constitutional amendments when it's something I agree with, because I just think there's a legislative process that could have taken place to ensure that people in those states get access to hunting without having to amend the state constitutions. That's
But
just
let me tell you, Billy. Here in Virginia, we have the Virginia Department of Game and Inland Fisheries that controls all that. You don't need it to go beyond that. I mean, those guys enforce it. They have their own law enforcement force that'll take and ban your hunting license. They can take your gun away that you're using, or your bow or whatever, and they can fine you. I mean, that's all. It doesn't need to go beyond that. So,
I feel that too, because it's like, again, I'm skeptical. Y'all will use any way in to try to justify the next one. You know what I mean? Right. It'll be, oh, you know what? There was a show, and everybody gets on me when I say this. Remember that show, To Catch a Predator?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when the show would come on, I would be like, yo, so technically the guy that's clearly intentionally in his mind, he's a pedophile.
Right.
Technically, he was typing someone that was posing as a child, but he actually wasn't typing a child.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you actually charging him for? Now, of course, I can't say that because it looks like I'm defending the pedophile, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in my mind, if we can do these things to people that we agree are the bad guys, and if it's okay here, you'll start using it in other places.
Take the hat off of that person, the pedophile, put it on to the gun owner. Okay, well, you want to shoot up a shopping center because you're really mad, blah, blah, blah. Right, I see what you're saying.
And so it becomes like some Minority Report type of thing, because technically what he did was he was typing back and forth with an adult posing as a child. So it was an adult. He drove 500 miles or however far he drove, and okay, you show up. Camera's there, whoop-de-whoop. Okay, cool. That guy's getting charged with whatever. Now, are we charging him for who he thought he was talking to? So are we charging people for what they thought they were doing?
Well, let me elaborate on that, Maj. A lot of times what I saw on the show was that is not substantial enough for them to charge them. Mm-hmm. So that's why they always try to elicit photos or videos, or them writing out the plans of what they wanted to do. Remember, and that person, remember, a lot of times would bring alcohol or drugs, or do you see what I mean? So they've already given.
They try to trick them into incriminating themselves.
You got it, John.
But but technically, it's not incriminating because they didn't do anything.
Fair.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like
I totally understand.
So,
what are your thoughts on that, Billy? Billy, I see you.
I mean, I'm for the most part, I'm very much against. Well, we hear about this all the time with the FBI, right? The FBI foiled a terrorist plot. But the part of it you don't hear is that agents found a disabled person going to a mosque in San Jose, and they talked to him over a period of 8 months and convinced him that he needs to go blow something up. But the idea never came from this kid, right? Like he was a mentally stable kid, and he was now being charged with this crime. Where if he never would have met those undercover agents, probably nothing never would have happened. So I see the point, and so I'm always skeptical when I hear stories, especially like a plot was foiled. Who came up with the idea for the plot is what I typically want to know. And we do that a lot in society. We do, and sometimes the FBI does this just because they need a bunch of victories, right? They need to justify their budget. Now, a lot of people aren't going to want to admit that, but it's very easy to come up with a plot and go find an uneducated, easily manipulated person and convince them to do this. Right. So I understand. Entrapment is something I think it's very concerning, and I know a lot of good people in law enforcement, and they're opposed to the use of entrapping people, and I'm sure there's probably plenty of people in government that like to entrap people. So it's something that I think we always need to be cautious about. We need to pay attention to, and there's always more to a story, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah.
All right.
So Stealth Gear USA helps make this episode possible. Stealth Gear USA makes breathable, really comfortable holsters. John, you've had some experience with Stealth Gear, haven't you?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've got 4 or 5 of their holsters on my desk right now.
I like the packaging. That's sharp.
Oh, they did a really nice job. No, the The vent core material is actually my favorite material. They're working on something new that I have sitting over here that I can't quite show you guys yet, but that vent core material is basically like the side of your sneaker.
Oh, nice.
It's super cushiony. It breathes, and they do a really nice job of putting the holsters together.
Yeah, it looks quality.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
You know, I get asked all the time to do holster reviews and things like that. You know, there's a lot of companies doing very, very similar stuff, and there's a lot of companies doing generally the same thing. And these guys are kind of taking a different path. Instead of leather or something like that, they've opted to go for this soft material, and I dig it. You know, I know a lot of guys will get frustrated by this, but that's who I've been recommending recently, you know.
So promo code TWIG for 10% off your order at stealthgearusa.com. They have an awesome 45-day, no questions asked guarantee. And every Stealth Gear USA holster is custom molded for your exact firearm. That's something we talk about here a lot, is that you need a holster that is molded for your gun, not some universal piece of garbage.
So what you're saying is Uncle Mike's is no good.
Why do you guys always bring up Uncle Mike's? I did not say that.
I'll say it. I'll say it.
Yeah, I'll say that too. They're garbage.
So yeah, we thank Stealth Gear USA for help making this episode possible. What holster is that for?
This is for a VP9. It's another one of Stealth Gear's. This is actually
nice.
For another industry guy. I was able to make that happen for him.
Cool.
You know, it's just a different one. I'll show you guys later. I'll show you guys what new stuff they're working on.
Very cool. Yeah, use that promo code TWIG. 10% off your next order at stealthgearusa.com. Gun sales in California have more than doubled since 2008. More than doubled.
Not shocking at all.
It's the same 24 guys. It's the same 24 guys. That's what the Brady campaign would say. It's 24 guys buying all the guns
in the whole state.
Yep.
California town literally trying to abolish the Second Amendment, and California ammo regulation ballot measure war chest tops $5 million are thrown at this ballot initiative to basically make getting ammo a complete nightmare, where you have to go through a background check. You can no longer buy ammo online without having it shipped to an FFL, and so on.
So the guys in California are going to get really upset with me, but they bought how many guns and still couldn't do anything politically? Right. Come on.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at? I know all the people listening to this are probably the people that were out there doing what they could.
Yep.
You know, the people that are just kind of buying a gun and sticking it in a drawer or whatever, you know, the non-shooter, the non-activist, the non-firearms culture person is the person that we need to reach and get them out there, you know.
As someone who, I mean, I lived a lot of my life in California, and I'm glad I don't live there anymore, even though I have a lot of great friends there. But, you know, it's another nanny state. It's another state that has done a great job, the politicians, of convincing the citizens of the state that the state knows best, that the government knows the best. And, you know, they're winning. They're winning in California. And a lot of people are tuned out in California. That's one problem, right?
Well,
there's a lot of people are tuned out. And
they also don't know
the
basis of the gun legislation in California was started in the 1960s and 70s just because they were scared of the Black Panthers. You know that, right?
Yeah, Ronald Reagan. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Ronald Reagan passed a lot of that. So, yeah.
New study finds voluntary do not sell list could reduce firearms suicides.
So this is so funny to me. So I can voluntarily put myself on a list. Just kind of weird to me. You know, I tend to think I'm really good with rhetoric, and I think I can win a lot of arguments. So because I'm potentially really good at arguing, should I put myself on a list for the First Amendment? Because, you know, it's not fair. it's just a weird thing. Like when I was reading this, I just thought it was so weird that people are going to willingly put themselves on a list. I don't think it's going to do anything. I think it's a big, it's something that they're just trying to get a little press attention to bring attention to suicides, which is a noble thing, right? We have a high suicide rate. But I don't think that this is going to do much of anything.
All right, we're going to fly through these last main topic stories to get to the rest of the show. We're already running over on time. Real quick, wanted to thank everyone for watching live on Facebook and YouTube. You watch the show live every Thursday night around 9 p.m. Central Time. So lawsuits continue against Taurus, even though Taurus already had a settlement because they
LOL.
make some poorly designed firearms.
Just to reiterate, the reason there was a lawsuit to begin with is because when dropped, even on safe, the guns would discharge.
So, you know, it makes me the thing I don't understand about Taurus being such a big company. You take a company like Bravo Company, Paul Buffone, who is a Nazi when it comes to quality craftsmanship and workmanship. I'm serious, John. You know how they like
they make good stuff, but I don't know if I would describe anybody as a Nazi.
Well, he's a friend of mine, okay, and I commend him constantly because he literally goes through and quality checks constantly and never stops.
As he
there's
should.
not consistency in every part of their gun, from their trigger groups to their bolt carriers to their barrels, he will turn them away. You know, when you get something from him, it is quality and it is proven over and over, and it's going to work, and they're going to take care of you no matter what. If something didn't for some reason pass after they QC'd it 3 different times, because that's what literally they do. They QC it again from someone else, QC it again from someone else before that ever goes out to be shipped. That's why they have an impeccable, you know, and their rifles have been sold out. My friend who's a distributor, Virginia Arms, I was at their store today, Bernie, the owner. I said, hey, when are you guys going to get some more Bravo Company? He laughs. He said, I checked with Paul in Wisconsin back in April, and he said it's going to be 17 months before they can get me some rifles. And they're the only distributor in Virginia. I was like, wow. So that tells you something. Demand.
We have the new Armatix IP9 smart gun that will actually be headed to the United States after all. It was going to be headed to California and Maryland until those dealers pulled support for it after being misled. And it looks like they've lined up possibly some new dealers to bring the gun to the States in 2017.
I hope it falls flat.
I don't think it's going to pick up. I honestly can't see anyone investing money in that. I mean, it's just it's a throwing money away. I mean,
it's only a $1,300 22 caliber gun. I mean,
that's
$1,300.
Ridiculous.
Okay, moving on. New free Lapua ballistics app released. So any long range shooters out there, new app from Lapua. How do you say it? I'm butchering it.
Lapua. That's what I say. Lapua.
What platforms is this out for? Android
and iOS.
Very cool. Check
and
that out.
Palm Pilot. They get the Palm Pilot software going too.
Palm Pilot. That brings back Throwback Thursday.
First adoption of M-Lock by the U.S. military.
Smart. At least it wasn't Kimon.
About time.
Yeah. So that's an article over on the Firearm blog if you want to read more, or you could probably hit up Murr over on Instagram if you want to hear about it for an hour. I'm offended.
Wow, that was a really backhanded.
That was a dig.
Oh, dude, wow, I love it.
I'm offended. I'm not necessarily offended here, but somebody's offended. Billy, are you offended at the Brady campaign's "Guns Don't Kill People, Dollars Kill People" video?
I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm so offended. I mean, it's what I would expect out of the Brady campaign, right? Complete scare tactic video. You guys got to watch this video where it's kids.
It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. That
more children. I did a video on this. You guys can see it. My video online. I did it a couple years ago about comparing drownings with accidental shootings. And accidental firearm shootings among children isn't even in the top 10. drownings are by far one of the worst when it comes to children, mostly children in bathtubs that are unattended. So this is just a complete scare tactic, and I kind of think it's a scare tactic that they're using to push for more laws that would allow law enforcement to ask children how their parents are storing their firearms at home. That's really the underlying reason behind this. It's really to scare people, to convince laws to be passed. So the government can ask ask the kids in school, ask the kids when away from the parents, are there guns at home, little Bobby? How do mom and dad store the gun? Well, you know what? That kid, that 5-year-old that I have to play airplane with broccoli to get it into his mouth, really? You're going to trust this 5-year-old and potentially get a search warrant to come and search my house? It's ridiculous. It's a complete.
And you know how, and here's the thing, we don't have to worry about it if we're out there, again, getting people educated. When I had a family here of 4, I had a mother, a father, their son and their daughter, and they had to bring their youngest, who actually was 5 years old. And he saw all the guns on the table. He was over playing with my daughters in their playroom. And we have a little gate that separates the area where I was teaching the class. And I had some unloaded guns there that I was showing them. And he's going crazy. He wants to see them. He said, "Can I see the pew pew?" So I told his mother and father, I said, "This is a perfect opportunity to explain to him." I said, "But I want you to lead off with this. You can see these anytime you want, as long as you ask mommy or daddy first, and then explain to them about which direction to push them, not to put your finger on the trigger, et cetera, et cetera." When you tell kids that and what they're capable of, my kids have known the rules of gun safety since they were 3 years old, and they know exactly. You come to my house and I'll have them, John, if you come down for our potluck on the 5th, you'll see they'll recite it to you verbatim. It's all education. Starts in the home.
Right. They walk right past them. Once they inform properly, it's like I've had one of the guys that does that teaches with us, he's an NRA certified instructor and everything. His name's Alex. His children are so familiarized with the rules that if he's not on point, they'll check him about it. Wow,
that's good.
That why is that there? That goes in the safe because it's not taboo, And by informing that, and again, same thing. We gotta just get it out of the shadows. But it's to Billy's point about them trying to utilize. They will utilize everything. It's really scumbaggish. They'll use anything that they can. Your children to try to just get into any crevice, and that's why my skepticism is high because I want to commend some of the things that, are being presented, but it's like, okay, well, what's the ulterior motive and the hidden agenda behind this? And to be able to ask my children about, man, we're just a far cry from where we need to be right now.
In the video, this toddler video, it actually says Americans are shot by toddlers at least once a week. The phrasing used there is amazing. Also, if you really want to, you can go to toddlerskill.org.
Wow.
No, that's a real website.
That's at the end of the video. You know what? Let's go there. Let's find out what's on that website real quick.
Hey, I've got 5 kids. Many of them toddlers, and
they haven't killed you crazy.
Are they on the website?
They would kill you if they could. I'm just saying.
The top of the page says "Keep America Safe." If you really want to keep America safe, get out and vote for life-saving gun laws.
There you go.
Right. Well, even Hillary in the debate, she mentioned that
yeah, she brought up toddlers killing.
Yeah, she brought up kids and
in 2015, toddlers shot and killed more Americans than terrorists.
That's real. There's no way this is real. This is the Onion. You're on the Onion's website.
This is unbelievable.
Okay, we're going to skip the other offended section story. Overflow, way too many stories to cover this week. You can always head on over to firearmsradio.tv and see the show notes when you click This Week in Guns. You can also pledge your support over at firearmsradio.tv/pledge. If you pledge at the after show level, you can hang out with us every other week after the show. So heading on over to Amazon, you can contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link. Just click the Amazon banners on the website before shopping, and a small portion of your sale will go to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We are to the full auto news segment, stories the real media won't talk about, and other crazy stuff. Each host picks a story to call their own. While you guys are picking your stories, I want everyone else to head on over to jwbmilitary.com. That's the home of JWB Military and Brass, where they have high quality, ready to load brass and all the major popular calibers, 9mm, 223, 300 Blackout, 308. They also have awesome and affordable AR-500 steel targets. High quality steel targets at an affordable price over at jwbmilitary.com.
I'm ready to rock and roll, Jake.
All right, go for it.
All right, so Kansas City man arrested for shooting concealed carrier with his own gun. All right, so one of the things, again, this show is going to be about education. One of the things that we teach in concealed and carry classes, and one of the things that I've been taught by great instructors such as Steve Fisher, Matt J. Queese, and John Murphy, is low visibility. If you're going to conceal and carry a gun, make sure it is truly concealed, that you're not printing, that no one can see your gun. You know, do things that when you're getting dressed and you put that holster on, when you're standing up, standing around, moving around, because you're going to encounter people out there that will do bad things, like having you swatted. Swatted, just for those people who don't know, or people who are law-abiding citizens who are carrying guns. Someone saw it, doesn't like it, knows you're carrying it legally. You walk into a place, they call the police on you to have the police come and bother you for no reason. This is a prime example. This guy saw that he was concealing a gun, got angry about it because he's anti-gun, goes over, wrestles the guy's gun away from him, and shoots him in the leg in the process when they're wrestling. So it could have been prevented, is what I'm saying, if the guy had been a little more vigilant. I'm not condoning the action of the guy who did the wrong by coming and assaulting this guy and pulling out his concealed gun and shooting him. But what I'm saying is, it could have, if the other person was more vigilant, there's no way, even if you saw my gun, that you're going to get your hands anywhere near it, because I'm going to be paying attention to what's going around, being situational aware. There's no possible way that's going to happen to me or any of you guys, probably. So that's all I got to say about that.
One of these Hillary Clinton voters that comes out and says, "I'm going to take your gun and shoot you with your own gun"? Is that what this was?
Seems like it.
Like
does.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
He took the gun off of him, and he pointed at another guy too. So,
yeah, my man wasn't on top of his game. I mean, he was extremely comfortable, which is still not on top of your game. He wasn't paying attention. It's 17 things I could find wrong with that in a drunken stupor.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's just bad business. I don't know what Cuz was thinking about at all.
All right, Maj, what do you have?
I have nothing.
You have nothing.
I don't think Maj doesn't know how we do this. So
right.
Everybody picks a news article at the end and kind of talks about it. But I'll go, Jake.
You go and I'll find mine.
Okay. So I just want to let all the Star Wars fans out there know. You know, there's been plenty of Star Wars films now, and now Ludo Sports is here, so you can learn the real art of lightsaber training.
Oh God! Oh God!
So Ludo Sports has been active in Europe for 10 years, and it's just now catching on in America. And if you live in San Francisco, you're willing to travel, according to the article, you can get the training in the Bay Area that you need to be a lightsaber expert. And they put together this awesome little video here that talks about the tournament series, and they're going to have tournaments all over the world. So you can get, you have to know all the rules, because there's a lot of rules to this lightsaber fighting. And, I don't judge. If you want to dress up like this one guy's dressed up like Darth Vader here, and someone else is dressed up here, and they're taking these classes, it looks like after the yoga studio closed, they're out there at like 10 o'clock at night. I mean, if this is what you want to do with your time, I think that's awesome. I really do. At the same time the country's going down the toilet, you're at Ludo Sports. And that's my story, Jake. I wasn't
All right,
I wasn't
John.
being too facetious, was I?
What do you got, John?
Good old Pencil Tucky out in a town called Beavertown, which is right in the middle of the state. There was an argument. A young lady named Jennifer Boop, I'm not kidding, that's her last name. Her and her boyfriend were arguing. Apparently, the boyfriend threw pizza in her face or smashed pizza in her face. She picked up a firearm that claims she did not know it was loaded and shot a round into his armpit. She says she never took the safety off. She had no idea how the gun fired. I would be willing to bet it was a gun without a safety, but I think this is a classic life lesson of don't get your pizza and your gun mixed up as far as weapons go.
All right, I got one. This
All
is
right.
actually a good one. A positive one.
Go for it.
South Carolina mother braved through rain, wind, and floodwaters to get to the hospital in time for her delivery during Hurricane Matthew.
Wow.
Yeah. Leslie Matthews got to take her son home Friday after she went into labor during the hurricane. She called paramedics. They warned her there would be a delay because of the rising floodwaters. Not willing to risk the wait, Matthews got up and started walking to the hospital on her own.
Beast.
Quote, walking through the water was fine, she said. Any mother would go through extraordinary measures to make sure that their child was safe, and I had to do what I had to do. A driver picked her up after she had walked nearly 3 blocks away from the hospital. And she had the baby.
That's that mom strength, man.
Yeah, that's that toss the car over.
That's why you never mess with a mother.
It's true.
Nah, at all.
You actually hit the nail on the head. I told my wife she was far weaker before she ever had our first child. I mean, coming out of the Marine Corps, she wasn't even as strong. Now she has 3 kids. She's way stronger than she ever was coming out of boot camp, boy. I'll tell you what. Oh yeah.
Built for us.
Lots of stories this week. You know, always find them at firearmsradio.tv. Click this week and guns. And I just lost the one I was going to do. Montana man sentenced for selling machine guns without a license. Yeah, you probably shouldn't sell machine guns without a license. Just saying. El Chapo.
But you should be able to.
You should.
Yes, Billy. You're that kid in school. El Chapo's judge shot in the head outside his home. Yeah. So portable. This is it. Portable destruction. Ukrainian firm develops handheld automatic grenade launcher, and it looks like you can.
Really, really crazy.
Yeah, it's like a bullpup grenade launcher almost.
It's better than that. It looks like it's straight out of a video game.
Where's Russian abs when we need them?
Yeah, right. You should
Right?
save that for Ebs on. Yeah.
30 millimeter automatic grenade launcher. It's
Wow.
derived from the Russian KBP AGS 17. Yeah, I think I want one.
The muzzle brake alone looks it looks like a bit off a drill press or something. Like,
It looks pretty cool, man.
yeah, I need it in my life.
John, I knew John wanted.
All right, support the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns. Head on over to firearmsradio.tv/pledge and click This Week in Guns and pledge your support for this show. If you never miss an episode, if this is what you listen to on your morning commute, consider pledging your support at firearmsradio.tv/pledge. And don't forget the Patch of the Month Club over at Patriot Patch Company. New exclusive patch every month. You can only get it from the Patch of the Month Club at patriotpatch.co. So this is a part of the show where we see what these guys have been up to and where you can connect with them online. So Maj, why don't you go first? Where can people connect with you online? Any websites you want to share? Any thing you got going on that you want people to
anybody that wants to
involved in?
come out, we're going to Atlanta next for the 13 City Black Guns Matter tour. Again, we go to places where the crime is high and the gun control laws are really severe. The places where every Second Amendment person says, "Yo, don't go there. They hate guns." We go there first to inform the people. If anybody wants to support that, our GoFundMe page is up. We are totally supported by the people. Between Black Guns Matter hoodie and T-shirt sales and donations. So that's GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter. If somebody wants to just talk about whatever, you can call me on my phone, 267-273-2905. If you want to get at me on social media, it's my Instagram and Twitter is at Maj2Ray, Majtoure. And pretty much all of that stuff is there. So again, even outside of just, fundraising or anything like that, anybody that's listening, that's watching right now, first, thanks for taking the time out. But I'm bigger than that, man. If you're going through something, you want to talk about it, you want to bust it up, you got a question, hit me up. I don't care if it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I mean, unless, I have choice companionship with me at that time. Other than that, I pick up my phone all the time. Hit me up. Let's communicate. Let's inform. Let's get trained. Let's get educated, and let's save the country.
Absolutely.
Rock on. Rock on.
Hey, Maj, why don't you share? You're looking for some blue guns too, right?
Oh yeah. Anybody that has a blue gun hookup, we want everybody at the tour. Yeah, that's the right number. If everybody on the tour, we want everyone that comes out to each of these cities to be able to understand that, the trigger discipline and all of those different things, those basic skill sets is something that you have to do by repetition. So what we try to do is have everyone in the class, at least hold on to for some time, one of the blue training guns. If anyone that's listening to this has, a plug that can ship us or give us or loan us, even loan a gang of those blue guns, we would really appreciate it. You can hit me on the social media too, or my phone number. Hit me up, text me, whatever. And if you can support and you can assist with that, that'd be great. And you NRA certified instructors that want to jump aboard, different cities of the tour. We got about 9 to 10 cities left. If y'all want to jump aboard, hit me up. Anybody want to lend some energy, lend some resources, posters, Eddie Eagle, handouts, all of that stuff. Anything that you got that you want to get out to the people, send it to us, man. We got a lot of work to do.
Very cool. In the show notes, I linked up to your official Facebook page and your GoFundMe page. So, all right, Billy, what's up with Boxer Tactical? You got a new product launch coming here.
Yeah, I know. Well, we got the Apogee belt, which we still have a few pre-orders left. We'll actually probably sell out this weekend on the Apogee, and I announced that here on your show 2 weeks ago. So that's been doing well. Those are going to ship in mid-November, and have another new product that I'm going to roll out probably on Saturday, which I know isn't traditional. And people are like, "You're launching the product on Saturday?" You know what? It's the internet, baby, and nothing's traditional. So if I'm going to launch a product at 1 p.m. on Saturday, I'm going to launch a product at 1 p.m. on Saturday. So yeah, we're excited. It's something cool that really isn't out there. It's a pretty simple product, but it's extremely useful. And we're really excited about that. And we'll have plenty of them already built, ready to ship. So if you place an order on Saturday, it'll ship probably even Saturday. So I'm excited about that. And always connect to us at Boxer Tac on Instagram, Boxer Tactical on Facebook, boxertactical.com, and me personally at Amidst the Noise. And that's about it, Jake.
John, what's up, and where can people connect?
Same old story, hustling, trying to get lots of content out, kind of gearing up for a lot of travel, with episodes of The Legal Brief. We're going to film a couple of those. TGC News is always happening. For those of you that are listening live, this Saturday, I'll be at a machine gun shoot in a little town called Kinzers, PA. If you find me on the Gun Collective Facebook page, I'll give you the information if you want to come out and hang out. That's going to be a good time. Let's see what else is going. Traveling to Phoenix, possibly Georgia, possibly Indiana, yada, yada, yada. Lots of travel always. And so if you want to connect with me, the Gun Collective, all over the internet, just plug that in.
Very cool. Baraka, what's up, and where can people connect?
Right now, we have just finished putting together 2 guns that were donated to us. We had a Gen 3 Glock 19 and a Gen 4 Glock 19, and we had a whole bunch of industry partners. Chris Nagamura from S3F Solutions and Aiden Cole donated some S3F precision match grade barrels. Agency Firearms donated some magwells and triggers from Paul Van Dunk, one of their reps. And then Doug Holloway from ATI did the slide work, and a whole bunch of other people contributed to these guns. And we're going to be raffling them off since we're a 501c3 to raise money for our organization, so we can get our training facility built and get more educational materials, and then eventually be able to facilitate all of these kind of financial scholarships I was talking about earlier. This is our first stepping stone to try to actually fund our organization. So we're really excited about that. We're going to probably launch it around Thanksgiving and run it through the end of SHOT Show mid-January. So really stoked about that. As always, connect with me on www.masf.co, as Jake likes to say, but up to everyone else who's in the common internet speak, it's just masf.co. And just go onto the online magazine. All my information is there, as well as in the show notes. And just remember, everybody, it is your place, and you and only you can protect yourself. Get educated, learn how to protect yourself, learn the laws, stay vigilant, and, you know, our whole slogan is we're empowering people through education, because gun ownership is your right, but safety training education is your responsibility. So please take that to heart.
You can leave your feedback by commenting on the bottom of this YouTube video, bottom of the show notes, Facebook, however you listen or watch. Leave us a review on iTunes, and don't forget to use that Amazon affiliate link to contribute when you're shopping on Amazon. So that's about a wrap. Thank you, John.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Billy.
Thanks for having me, Jake.
Thank you, Maj.
Thank you. I'll see your brother soon.
And thank you, Baraka.
Thank you very much. Oh, and one more thing. I'll be at the same machine gun shoot as John. So if you guys are out there, it'd be cool to see some of you guys over in small town PA.
Very cool. That's a wrap.
Thank
We'll
you,
see you next week.